This is the Canny Couple. I'm Julia, Aaron's behind the camera, and today I want to talk to you about the hardest part of food preservation and how we manage it. But before we get started, we'd really appreciate it if you would hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And if you hear the baby, she's fussy right now. It's almost bedtime. So the hardest part of food preservation isn't actually preserving the food. It's this part, and that is the prep work. And if you see gnats flying, I have several gallons of vinegar that is attracting them. So we are in full season right now trying to maintain. But it's all about preservation in our household, preserving as much food as possible, especially food that we grow ourselves. Now, these pears are not things that we grew, but we knew this was an expense, so we budgeted for it this month. But actually getting these canned is not the hard part. That actually goes pretty quickly. Getting them into jars and all of that. What's really hard is actually finding the time to do all the preservation work, or not the all the preparation work. And over the past few years, I've really had to learn how to juggle finding time to prep, finding time to preserve, while also being a mom, a wife, an employee, and a homesteader, is still maintaining all the other homestead jobs. And sometimes I don't do a good job. Sometimes we fail, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we lose the crop. Sometimes we don't get it put away fast enough. Or sometimes we just, something happens and it falls through. And that's okay. That's life. It happens. But I have learned a few tips and tricks over the past few years that have really helped us a lot. And that is, my number one is always going to be to split up your preparation time. So I actually started prepping these pears 2 days ago.
Yes.
2 days ago. I started getting them clean. Really scrubbing them. The really hard scrub that you have to do for fruit before you start to process it. So I really started to scrub those down, get them cleaned up, ready to go whenever it was time to do the actual cutting. So because I took an hour or two, it really saved me a lot of time versus I don't have a whole day just to process these pears. I don't have a whole day just to process apples. I've done it, and I used to take a whole Saturday, but it's really hard for me to devote that amount of time. So I will actually start processing this fruit in the morning. I'll start getting it cut up. I'll put it into a bag. I'll leave it in some citrus water with some lemon juice if it's an apple. I'll start preserving it, getting it ready early. That way by the time my evening comes about, my jars are ready because I've sterilized them in the dishwasher, and I'm ready to can by the time work's finished. And I feel like that's worked out the best for us, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and the Amish bath canner
Has helped so much.
has helped so much.
Oh my God, we're not up at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
I mean, we would be
That's what I
up
was
to like 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning because we could only do like one, even doing 2 loads at a time. If I wanted to, I could actually do 3. If I had to, I could get my other canner out here. I could do 3 loads at a time. This is not glass top. We did not get a glass top for a reason. It's a cool top. And I could do multiple canners on here. And if I really had to, I could also use my electric pressure canner for pints if I wanted a water bath can. So I have options, and I've created options for myself. And that was one of the reasons we actually invested in the Amish bath canner, because when I can, I try to do as much of it as possible, more than 2 or 3, 4, 7 jars at a time. So we would do 7 jars, 14 jars at a time, and we would be up for how long?
Some nights I felt like we was almost up to the next morning.
And I mean, it would take forever because I would use my pressure canner, I would use the other canner, and we would just work through them, and then we would start it all over again the next day. But I would say managing my day and really making sure I start 2 to 3 hours early, and I spend 2 to 3 hours on it in the evening if I need to, like this big canning project here, has really helped me the most. And also making sure I keep things that need to be top of mind, like I need to stir this vinegar every day. So you can see we've got a few gnats there because it's vinegar, and that's what it does. It attracts the gnats. We can't help that. And I've got tomatoes here I've got to process and go through. I'm sure a few of the little ones have went bad. So while these are canning, I'm going to get those in the freezer. And it's just, for me, it's all about making the most use of my time and getting through the prep work. And when I say getting through it, that means when I do these tomatoes, I'm going to wash them. I'm going to core them. I'm going to do as much as I can to get them ready in the freezer. So that's one step extra I don't have to take. If I'm going to go through the trouble of putting them in the freezer, I want to put them in the freezer clean. I do the exact same thing with any fruit we put up. We always take that extra step on the front end in the preservation process to try to make our life easier in the long run. When I put berries up, I put them up clean. I put them up drained. I wash them, I rinse them several times, put them in a bag in the freezer, and I feel like it's really saved us a lot of time.
It has, and it's something that, you know, we when we get enough of them too, you know, if you just get a few here, a few there, especially like late season blueberries for us or gojis even, you know, well, we won't can those, you know, but dehydration, you know, wait till we get a bigger batch.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're saving those up, building it, and because now the freeze jar, even my squashes, my summer squashes, what I've done is I have prepped them, I've cleaned them, gotten them ready, cut up, put them in bags where they lay flat, take a mallet to them when I'm ready to break them up, and I put them in the freezer. I'm ready to go. It takes me like 3 minutes total to prep my zucchini and squash. I'd say that has been one of the best things.
It has. It definitely has. It's really, you know, helped the process.
It's really sped me up. So, hardest part, if this is what scares you about preserving food, is the amount of time it takes. You can split it up and it can be manageable with everything else that you have to do. I would say finding times that really work well with your schedule. For me, early in the morning, late in the evening, she's wanting my attention and I have to work on pears. But that's really what has helped me the most. It's really kept me able to actually preserve the food and the amount of food we want to preserve. Wouldn't you say?
Oh yes, definitely. I feel like even though you might be taking a lot of time, you know, days wise on something, we're not staying up or you're not doing it just one day anymore. You know,
I'm not killing myself in a day, which puts me down for another day or more. I'm managing it because it's a lot of work. You're on your feet, you're standing up. It is a lot of work. There's like, it can be a lot, but it's something that I take a lot of joy in, a lot of pride in. I look at my jars in my canning room, which I will show you eventually, just not right now because they're a bit of a mess. But I look at those jars of food that I have preserved this year, and I'm just so proud of all the hard work we have done, and of what we've put away in our freeze jar, the vinegar we've put away. So I'm very proud of what we've done and how I've managed everything and sort of kept my sanity. So, if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to see in future videos, if you have a great tip on how you save time preserving, please send those to us at thecannycouple@yahoo.com or in the comments below. And be sure to check out our link tree where you'll see all of our other content, our podcasts, things like that. And as always, thank you for joining us on The Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.